What's up, guys? It's Sammy. I'm here shooting my first video. And we're going to be covering sandbags today. I've been seeing a lot of people training these lately. And I've seen within my gym and outside, a lot of people are making a lot of the same mistakes that, if corrected, which are very easy to correct, can really benefit them when it comes to the sandbags event, whether it's loading, carrying, pressing, whatever. It all starts from the same base. So you're starting from the pick, the lap, and trying to get it up. Here for a carry, here for a load, or here for a press, right? So there's two ways that people can start with a sandbag. A lot of people start with it vertical like this. I've seen that more recently. It's easier to get yourself over the bag and get adjusted. It's good for doing sandbag over shoulder. Myself, I prefer the sandbag to be sideways like this. For this, I feel like I can compress the bag a little bit more. It's a little less shifty. It becomes a little bit more rigid, and it's a little bit easier to move. So that's my personal preference. You do whatever is comfortable to you. I have long arms, so that definitely benefits me. The first thing that I see just right from the jump on what people do on sandbags is they'll start behind the sandbag to try to pick it, pull it into them. It works sometimes. Once you get up to those heavier and more maximal weights, it becomes a little bit difficult. The reason behind that, just like you would in a squat or a deadlift or any of these other movements where you need to maximize your power, you want your line of action, the force that you're producing, typically through the heel, to be right over whatever weight you're trying to move. A squat, the bar is going to be right over your heel. Same thing with this. So I always tell people, don't get behind it, get a little up close and personal, get over the bag so that when you drive, it's directly going vertical into the bag, right? So that's step one. That's a super easy fix. It's going to make a lot of people's lives easier when it comes to a sandbag event. The second thing I see is on that pick, a lot of people are trying to bend over, especially when they're starting behind the bag, and they use a lot of their lower back, and it's just a lot of unnecessary strain that's put on your back. And we already get enough of that if you're doing strongman training, right? So you want to make sure, I always tell people the best thing to do, you think about, a snatch or a clean, you're trying to force your hips in and your chest up, right? They have a mutual relationship like that. So when you force your hips in, your chest comes up, right? That's going to keep you in a better hinge position, and it's going to keep you stronger overall. So you want to come down in, and I always tell people to stand all the way up with it to try to sink it back into their hips, really pull it into you, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So I'll get down, I'll force my hips in here, keep my chest up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of scoop my feet to the center to be able to support the bag when I hop down so it's not falling through my knees. Here. Should be right tight into your hips. Should be as compact as possible, and I pull it into myself when I come down. You should get to a point where I can sit here all day and just hang out, me and my sandbag, just chilling. Ultimately, we want it to move. So the next thing that I see a lot of people do, which is a really easy fix, is they try to come over top here and pull it up and pull it into them like a stone. And just like anything that's supported from the top, you have to have so much more force to be able to hold something that's trying to fall out the bottom. The fix to that, which is really easy, is getting your arms under this midline of the bag. And that's on the sides and that's in the front, right? A lot of people come here or here. You want to squeeze your elbows, get elbow and shoulder deep, wrap as tight as you can, and get under the bag. It's like the same way that a cupcake or a muffin, you talk about a muffin top, love that term, but a muffin top goes over the side of its little skirt, and ultimately that's what supports it. It's not going to fall out the bottom, where if you had maybe a muffin upside down, you put a little grease in the tray, you held it upside down, it's going to fall right out, right? So you want to make sure you get under it, pull it up into you, front squat, throw your hips through, have it glued to your sternum, and really force your hips through. A lot of people try to stand straight up. Again, it's got nothing to support it, but if you can get your hips under it, it can sit on your belly and it can be supported by your hips. So I will wrap around, squeeze it, front squat, pull up, and here I can walk. I don't even really need hands. It's all supported by my hips and my elbows. So that's going to be the main thing. If you can change, fix, get comfortable with those three things, you're going to see your bags blow up really quick.